Extreme cold. It keeps ice cream frozen and safeguards crops for centuries.
It's been referred to as the Doomsday Vault.
Sub-zero technologies that preserve, destroy,
That's a perfect way to dice the onion.
and even clean. Super cool cables that provide supersized energy. The coldest of liquids feed the greatest controlled fires. Deep freeze on Modern Marvels. It's tough enough to clean the dirtiest grime, yet gentle enough to restore irreplaceable artifacts. Blasted onto any surface, it disappears on contact. And at minus 109 degrees Fahrenheit, it's extremely cold. The magic ingredient that's making it all happen? Frozen carbon dioxide, better known as dry ice.
We put it into a system that's sort of similar to a sandblasting unit, and we propel the dry ice from rates of 600 feet per second to about 1,000 feet per second. And as it strikes a solid item, it sublimates directly into a gas. There is no evaporation process, it's directly solid to gas. Demonstrated like this. Small quantity of dry ice at a high velocity into a solid item, and it just goes into a gas.
The frigid temperature of the dry ice blasting against the grime causes it to shrink and lose adhesion from its subsurface. As that happens, the dry ice explodes into vapor, expanding 800 times its original volume.
So there's a mass of the dry ice striking the surface, the extreme cold, and this explosion that is helping to remove the contaminants.
The process has been used to renovate nearly 100-year-old roof tiles at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Dry ice blast cleaning removed the built-up tar without scratching the irreplaceable tiles, each worth an estimated $10,000. It's even used to strip crystal buildup in wine barrels and to restore smoke-damaged buildings. Don't want to get your antique book wet while cleaning it? No problem.
You are coming out more or less just dusting the surface of the book. Doesn't damage any surfaces that are harder than dry ice. Dry ice on a scale of 1 to 10 is about a 2, with diamond being a 10.
Of course, when people think of dry ice, they don't think of cleaning. Dry ice is more commonly known for its ability to keep things cold. Airgas Incorporated is the leading producer of dry ice in the United States. At their dry ice plant in Hopewell, Virginia, they start with recycled carbon dioxide.
The CO2 gas that we process here is a byproduct from an ammonia fertilizer production process. Essentially, that gas that's created is brought into this facility, cleaned up, and reused.
Airgas liquefies the carbon dioxide vapor using a series of compression and cooling cycles. Then, the liquid carbon dioxide enters the dry ice plant.
This is our block process. When the liquid comes in, at this point, it's 250 pounds per square inch, and it's about 8 degrees below zero Fahrenheit.
When the liquid carbon dioxide is injected into the block press, the pressure is lowered to match the atmosphere, and the temperature drops 101 degrees.
At that point, CO2 is going to immediately change state from 100% liquid to a 45% solid, 55% gas. The solid that stays behind is what we call snow, except it's 109 degrees below zero. Not unlike making a giant snowball, you let the block press come down and form it into that 20 by 20 by 12 inch high cube. Approximately 220 pounds. Once it comes out of the back of the press, it goes down the line, 2 line saws that cut that into 4 50-pound blocks. We have a capacity to make 3,600 of those 50-pound blocks in a 24-hour period.
Temperatures on Earth have dipped as low as minus Fahrenheit. So why doesn't it snow dry ice? While carbon dioxide in the air will freeze below minus 109 degrees Fahrenheit, the concentration of the dry ice particles is so low that they are not visible. Dry ice plants across the U.S. run around the clock, forming blocks, as well as pellets like those used in blast cleaning, to meet the demands of numerous industries. About 60% of dry ice produced is used in food processing. Almost 13% by hospitals and pharmaceutical companies. And blast cleaning makes up nearly 10% of dry ice usage. Today you can even buy dry ice at over 4,500 U.S. grocery stores.
You're going to need to have some gloves because dry ice is 78 degrees below zero Celsius, about 110 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. So it's really, really important that you don't touch it.
If touched briefly, dry ice is harmless. But contact with the skin for more than a second will freeze cells and cause frostbite.
But you know what everybody likes to do with dry ice? They like to put it in water because it gives us this great cloud. So it's pretty simple to do. Just take your dry ice and, of course, you just need a little bit of water. The warmer the water, the better because it gives you a better cloud. And then you just drop the dry ice inside and you get that spooky looking drink. Now you can tell that it's actually cold because you see how the vapor is coming down. That carbon dioxide is more dense than the air around it.
Letting the dry ice sublimate into an open space is the only way to dispose of it. Trying to contain the expanding gas would result in an explosion. Though carbon dioxide makes up 80% of greenhouse gas emissions in the United States, far less than 1% of it is from dry ice. But when you're planning the next Halloween party, remember that that witch's brew has a carbon footprint, even if it's a small one. Dry ice may pack a mighty punch, but its power is dwarfed by the cold that lifts the space shuttle into orbit. In 1925, Pressed Air Devices was the first company to produce commercial dry ice in the United States. Today, the United States produces nearly 2 billion pounds of dry ice a year. Deep Freeze will return on Modern Marvels.